Hi guys, and welcome to my video on monotropism, a monotropism spiral that I lived in for a very long time. Not a good thing. Now there's many theories, many studies, and then there's a lot of people who are autistic who say that this relates to them. I feel the same. I was told about monotropism and I thought, oh, what is that? Open-minded, and I went, that's me. What is it? As in, like, what is this thing? Is it like a coexisting condition, or is it just like alexithymia? It's just part of autism. I didn't know. Anyway, a lot of theorists and a lot of people do believe, and I actually agree with all the studies that I've done. 3 years in the science theory of psychology, and a year on the job of social welfare, and then of course an extra year just working in it. I do agree that monotropism is pretty much what autism is. So what is monotropism? Monotropism is a situation in the brain where things just go around and around, and everything you do and think is all focused on that one thing, and you can't shift to something else. So you're so like this, and your partner's like, come on, we gotta go and do this and get this done, and and you're like, no, I'm trying to work this thing out here, and I need your input, and blah blah blah. And your partner's like, oh, hang on, no, we're about to do this, we plan to do this today, and your brain is just going in circles and circles and circles. Yes, it's connected to OCD, absolutely. A lot of us have a coexisting condition called OCD. There's many types of how the OCD presents. I have OCD. Mine presents in a way of organised OCD. You can see that by my room. A little bit of germs involved, not as severe as people in my family. My uncle used to be so bad that he had a fork for our family Sunday roasts, and he used to bend the little arm of it. They're all mechanics because my grandfather was a mechanical engineer, so he would have had the tools for it. He bent the little arm of it at the end, and so whenever we set the table, which he would always make sure us kids set the table correctly, and of course he would go around doing this to mine because yeah, no idea, didn't really care. Table etiquette, as I've discussed with you guys, don't understand it. But anyway, I have a posh nana who's very posh, okay, very very posh, and it's just, you do what nana says. Just let's just put it that way. Okay, so basically she can get quite nasty if you don't. I don't like that side of it. Just saying the truth. Anyway, so that's what monotropism is. And I have been stuck in it my whole life. And in different ways. Depending on your age, the phase of your life, it varies. So, you're very much stuck in your head. And you're very much stuck on something specific. And then when that might be finished, you'll go on to something else. You're very much black and white. That's why when I talk, I very much talk about more than the black and white, because I've had to study it so much. And as you know, with my qualifications, I have studied it so much. That has been a wonderful thing for someone like me who's autistic and started out being so black and white. My lecturers were a little bit worried that maybe this industry isn't for you at all. So at first they even thought that maybe I wasn't going to be able to, because I was so rigid, not change it. Autistic thinking is very rigid. I still have rigid thinking. Monotropism happens, absolutely. Drives everyone around me crazy because they're like, let's just get on to this. Why are you still talking about that? And I'm like, oh, you don't understand. I have monotropism. Be nice to me. But of course I don't understand. I can't read my mind. And monotropism is not something to stay in. Not that we choose it, just like OCD, but it has to be dealt with, doesn't it? You can't just ignore it. So, like I said with my epiphany, what's also happened is a big deal in that is the monotropism for me has obviously lifted. I've leveled up. So think of when you're born autistic, right? So you're born and you learn so slow, and everyone else is just like to make everything look so easy, and you're like, I have to spend so much time to learn little thing. And you're going along life and you just focus on one thing at a time, and just you have to know everything about that one thing, and then you move on to the next thing. Sometimes that can be hard though, because it's like, but I really like that thing. Why is it finished? Why is there no, why am I done with that bit? Like when my big teddy bear enclosure is full one day down the track, I will be very sad and have to find another focus. Anyway, that's just one silly example. Normally it's other things, multiple things, but the monotropism, I get stuck on something. My brain goes around in circles. I've even been pointed out that I do things in threes, and I do. I buy things in threes. I can't do that now because I'm in an apartment. It's a bit hard. I mean, I could, but too hard. I don't bother with it. I have so many people to help me. It's not like the old days where I felt like I had to do that because I was looking after myself. I was my own carer. I have not been someone that has been cared for with my syndrome for the whole time. I've been quite independent and strong, to be honest, and a bit stubborn, and like to be self-sufficient, and I'm autistic, so having people around is a little bit difficult. It's not that I don't like people, it's not that I'm antisocial, it's that the monotropism is taking over all my life. Anyway, it doesn't always. It comes and goes, but sometimes it can be, oh my gosh, it's so itchy. But it can come and go, but sometimes it can stay around for a long time, even years. I have had it stay around for years on different topics. Dysfunctional families, narcissistic personality disordered people, because I attract them like moths to a flame. They just come to me. And they just destroy my soul to the point where I go, oh my gosh, life is so dark. And then I come back to me again by just spending time alone, like a monk, just don't speak, just totally alone. And then I go, life is beautiful. And I get quite emotional about it. I look at the sun, like, oh, isn't that beautiful? Amazing. And then I become myself again. And then I realize, oh, that influence and the monotropism took me there. And it's really difficult because we're stuck in it. We don't always express it properly to people as an autistic. We just don't. We end up just getting stuck in there without speaking it. It's in there. And as you can imagine, just like a non-verbal who can't speak enough to express their needs, we have the same thing with monotropism, which, like I said, we all believe is the autism. Hence why a lot of us high functioning say we are struggling just as much. However, of course, I give absolute honour and grace to people that have an autistic who needs supervision, like they are a very, very small child. Of course, that is a huge, thing to have to deal with and live with for the autistic person themselves and their family. And I honour all of you that do that to that level. I do have to say that needs to be honoured, but all I'm saying is the struggle is still there for us. Yes, we can be left alone in certain situations. It is a totally different story with that. But when it comes to the comprehension, the communication, the understanding, the complex speech, the thoughts going around and around in circles and not understanding it because of our rigid thinking, the black and white thinking. The reason why I'm so good at it, like I said, is my qualifications. I have studied this, but I still forget and I still can be sometimes black and white, a lot of times rigid and stubborn, all of those things, sometimes all at once. So monotropism has really affected my life for years on the one topic. And I believe that's the way autism affects me. Not the only thing, of course. There's many things that autism affects, but I'm talking about monotropism in this. So just that focus on one thing and then someone trying to, especially when you're in a relationship. And with 22Q, I'm like 1 in 5 22Qers who get married and have kids. And yeah, I haven't coped. Absolutely not, I haven't coped. I'm out of my element. I've always been out of my element being a mother. I should have had more assistance than what I had because of my actual true situation. So that's tough. But my monotropism has basically just consumed me with narcissistic personality disorder because of my family, being the black sheep. Then it's like, hyper focus on my special interest was my children. So when they left, it's like, oh dear, now what do I do and who am I? I mean, I've got to let go of them because I don't want to cramp their style, even though, the report card's good. I'm happy with my report card. I don't feel like, they know that I was a good mum, which I think is great. I mean, of course, their childhood is not perfect, and I'm sure they'll say that too, because, I don't think anyone's is, and I honour and always have honoured their pain, because, us as parents, of course, we cause our children pain, and you have to own it. But the monotropism and the focus on how to be a parent and getting the books from the library on how to be a parent, stressful. Being so paranoid about safety that you're going around to every single window in the house till you're up until 3 in the morning because you're worried about someone breaking in because a stupid guy who's trying to sell you a security system scares you, and your monotropism starts to kick in and OCD kicks in, and all you're focused on is that. Now, I'm in my early 20s, so once again, human development, there's age thing there. I've lived, out of my family's home since 18. I wasn't one of those lucky ones that got to leave when I was ready. And being a developmentally delayed human, I'm meant to be under guardianship by my parents. So if you've seen that movie, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but you should watch it. Please stand by. That's me. Except she had more support, which is wonderful. But that's how I used to be. That's how I used to be, guys, at 18. I know, look at me now, right? And I'm proud of this. I'll have to say that. I'm just going to say it. I am. Because if you look at that movie, and when I look at that movie and I go, that was me. And I had two, well, I was pregnant with my first. When I was 19, it's like, I look at that movie and I look at that young girl and I'm just like, that's me. It's intense. And families just don't always want us. And I want that reality for particularly my generation to be put out there. Kids like me that grew up autistic, and I'm not going to say the words they call us, well, you don't have the support. We didn't then, and we don't have it now. And that, you know, makes things harder. And being into monotropism with focusing on one thing, you cannot fix your life. You cannot see the big picture. You can't go around looking at things. And of course, you're going to have blind spots because of it, basically. You're going to end up not seeing, I guess, what you need to see. Because you're so rigid on one thing that all these other things are happening. You learn those things later. It's like it's like the puzzle is so multi-usable, because it's like that. It's like you're trying to find the puzzle piece, but you have to do these like an envelope, you know, go to step this and go and pick up this around the tree, and then go get the blue ribbon, and then go to the, you know, walk 500 meters north, you know, to find the other piece of the puzzle. That's how hard our life is. Everything is so difficult. Nothing feels natural. Everything's so hard. And we so fake it because we just want to be seen as like everybody else. Just like you guys that aren't autistic. And then we get to our 30s and we realize, oh, I can't do it. I can keep trying to trick myself and trick others, but I know they're seeing it. I know that they think that I'm just weird. I know that they're starting to pull away because they outgrew me. I didn't choose that people walked away from me, but I'm autistic, and I couldn't, even though I was still masking in my early 30s, obviously not well enough or something, because that's when my friends walked away. And my monotropism just went more focused. So I had my things that I'd focus on. So I'd go from one thing, and then when that was like hyper focused with the monotropism, stuck on that and going around in circles, then I'd go on something else. And I was stuck in this for years. And most of it was all outside noise. Because as an autistic, everything you do is wrong. And so because everything you do is wrong, you think when someone says something to you, it's like, okay, that's the truth. Now, I know that's not true now, but that's how I used to think. They're right, I'm wrong. And that's a really painful experience, because you're the only one that can tell the narrative about you, because you're the only one that knows your intentions and what you actually have and haven't done. Others judging from the outside, especially when they don't have a discussion about, oh, why did you do this, or why did you do that, and you know, what's behind it, and let's talk more about it. That's just my opinion. It's like, that's just, yeah, comes under judgment, doesn't it? You need to hear things from the person's actual mouth. And I hardly believe in that, you know, that it's a bit like lately, so many situations I've been put in lately that are just so corrupt and so wrong that I've had to put the mask on and say the facts, no matter how dorky I sound, because when I speak to people who are even 20 or more years younger than me, I speak, it doesn't sound like a typical 51-year-old, right? But I tell the truth. And with my monotropism and social justice and the focus on that and the focus on why do these people have nothing? Why do these people end up with nothing? And that can just send you so downward that when you are defending against these certain other types of people that are doing the wrong thing, you feel like you're representing all of everyone. And it's just, the monotropism can do that. And the circular thoughts. And, you know, same with my kids, you know, even though it's like, oh, you know, you're a great mum, everything's fine, but then having the difficulties with them and the distance from them, naturally, the monotropism and the circular thoughts about it, trying to work things out, because for a long time I didn't know what the problem was, and the problems changed a few times, so it's hard to keep up. But it's hard to know what's true and what's not, because I'm there for the genuine difficult times for my sons, but I'm not there to play games. I'm still their mother and I won't take shit. That's what kind of mum I am. If my child comes to me with respect and says whatever, then that's fine. But if they come with me and speak to me like I'm rubbish, then I won't tolerate that, you know. But my kids were definitely just the monotropism about them. I lost who I was. I didn't even know who I was for so long, 20 plus years. I never really thought of myself as not being a mum in the future. Now, it's not to say that I'm not a mum. Of course, I'm still a mum, but you know what I mean? Like they don't live with you and you don't have to do all these things daily and that kind of thing. And it's wonderful. We have our own home again like we used to when we lived together before we had kids. It's lovely. I mean, empty nesting is not easy. It's a process that you have to go through. But I found it easy in the end, because at the end of the day, you have to let your kids go. I mean, that's how life works, right? They grow up, they get married, they have their own partners. That's how it's meant to be, and we should be proud of that, because independence is what our job is to do. And like my son said to me, you know, what was it, you know, good on you, mum, you know, like, look at what you've done, you know, with, he's referring to his brother and himself as being, you know, look at us too, the good people. And it was just like, oh, I just sobbed. But yeah, it's like, I've had many other focuses, but yeah, being a parent has been a monotropism spiral, which is sometimes probably stifling for them, probably when they look back, because not in a bad way, I wasn't controlling, but in a way of, I just wanted to help. I always wanted to help. And I think I did that too much, instead of just stepping back and going, leave them be. This is, once again, not them as like older adults, because they lived at home till 24, 26, but I'm talking about more about up until sort of 18, sometimes to 21, because adolescence only really finishes at 21. They need you still quite a lot until 21. You become an adult, you need to learn how to be an adult for a little bit, and then they really are ready to fly. But boys fly a bit later. Anyway, and I've had many other focuses of monotropism spirals that I've just gone way down. And it's sad, because it comes back to the autistic that's stuck here, and everyone around you is going, I miss you. And I can't count how many times I've heard Sir say that, you know, because I'm down these spirals, just one after the other. Things going around in my head. And even if I'm talking to him about it, that's not a true connecting, is it? That's just me just going around and around in circles with him. if I'm verbalizing it, if I can. And he will say, I miss you. When I come back, he'll say that. And so, to wrap this up with monotropism, autism, it makes me sad. It's good to be aware of, because now we can all, if you've got this too, we can all focus on this in a positive way of remedies, tools, things we can do to work with it, around it, whatever. But it makes me sad to hear that my monotropism spirals, disconnect me from my own partner. Just like I remember my family being nonverbal, and my family coming up to me and just looking at me and saying, what are you thinking in that little brain? Makes me sad. Because people just want to connect with me. I'm stuck in it. Because I haven't yet got the sentences, the understanding. Some things just not there yet to be able to. And even when I do, it's circular. So then you've got to do social stories. It's tough. I do believe that monotropism is very much really autism. I do believe that. Like the theorists and a lot of people that are autistic and a lot of people that know autistics are talking about this. And I know it's all very new stuff, and I need to look into it more. Pardon me, sorry. Of the actual studies and what they represent. It just makes me sad that so many years as a kid, and so many even teachers just looking at me, just puzzled, because they would never hear me speak. There was no conversation. So that's why there's no high functioning, low functioning guys. But like I said, with families with nonverbals, that it is difficult, and they do have very severe autism. Of course, those families struggle, and so does the autistic in those families struggle, and that's why we all support them, don't we? But basically, all of us have this battle of just being trapped in here. And people just don't know what's going on. We do, but they don't. And hearing people say, or trying to connect with you, and I stare into their eyes, and it's the only time I really feel like I can, because normally these are people I love and trust, right? It's a little bit easier. But it's like when they say these things, it's just, I feel so bad. But the worst thing I feel is, why am I not noticing this? I get so frustrated with myself for not noticing this and picking it up. So to anyone out there that goes through this is autism. We get stuck on something, and people just need to be more tolerant, understanding, because it's quite distressing. And I'm not saying it's bad what people say, like with Sir saying, I missed you. It hurts, but it's not he's got a right to say that. That's his experience. It's his feelings. I'm just saying, like, and he knows it's not me doing it on purpose. But it's a really tough. It doesn't go away. You get a better toolbox because you're an adult. But I feel sad about all those people trying to connect with me when I was a little girl. How I remember the sadness in their face and their eyes. Because they just so wanted to connect with me. And facial expressions for me have to be exaggerated for me to see something. And then Sir saying, you know, I missed you, just makes me feel sad. It makes me sad. Because sometimes it all just come out and I was like, oh, because this has been going around in circles in my head. And he's like, oh, why don't you tell me? And then we'll talk about it, you know, and he'll help me through it. And I'm like, I don't know why I don't just say, I'm autistic. We don't operate like that. So it's a spectrum, and it's not black and white. We black and white, and we get rigid, but autism is so complex. But at least we know this theory, monotropism. We can look into it. We can find ways around it, through it, whatever, to help ourselves. So if you relate to this, go do that. Google's a wonderful place. Maybe things are on YouTube. I don't know. But look it up. See how you feel for yourself about this. I do believe it is autism. And I think we need to honour the struggle to communicate for us high functioning, not really, people. I mean, I'm not someone that, I'm supposed to have a guardian, which, you know, because my parents haven't done it, they don't want me. I have to organise this through. So at this point, I don't have anyone else assigned for that. And I'm not going to go into why, because that brings drama. But he is my guardian, basically. So, yeah, I think this is a great topic for autism. And when I learned about it and thought about my own experience, I could not believe how much this is. Wow. This is what I'm going through. Now I know how to explain it. So I hope that you've learned from this. Now also I want to share, someone has got a pink headband out there. Isn't it Ashley? Ashley, isn't it you? I think it's you, Ashley. Okay, and you've got a ball coming up. Pink, glittery headband. I'm loving it already. So whatever else you're doing, like dress or whatever, perfect. Oh my goodness. I hope you have the bestest time ever. Is that a word? Bestest? We made it up. Anyway, it's a word now. Sorry, I'm very, very tired. But yeah, have a good ball. Well, so you call it prom, don't you? We call it balls here. Which I don't know why. I think because it's in the ballroom. But yeah, I hope you have a good time. And if your dress is pink, let me know, because oh my goodness, girlfriend, pink, like pink. I mean, he's allowed to be like this colour because he's a sausage dog. Look at him. Do you know how long I've wanted him? A long time. Dreams really come true. But yeah, like, my house is so decluttered, it's not funny. Sorry, the hyper focus on decluttering has been big. And organization and zoning and yeah, my brain's been going crazy. That's what happens with my OCD, and it's actually a positive in my eyes because I get stuff done and then I crash into a physical, as you guys know, fatigue, pain, blah blah blah. So anyway, thank you guys. There's so many of you that are just so kind that some of your emails make me cry so hard because number one, you see me. Yeah, how important that is. Number two, you make me feel like I'm meant to be on this earth because when you're a child of parents that don't want you, parents that harmed you, then just threw you away, it's really hard. And it really affects who you are, how you perceive yourself at times, not all the time, but at times, because your parents are meant to love you, so it's very confusing. And you're an orphan, but you don't have, say, foster parents, or you don't have, more to the point, parents that have taken you in and adopted you. So it's very difficult. I don't have a mum, sisters, aunties. I don't have people to lean on. So yeah, I just want to say, like, your support is just overwhelming and too kind. And of course, I'm always that typical person that's like, yeah, I don't deserve to hear that. Like, I'm not that great. Like, because yeah, I've had a lot of put downs, and being autistic, like some of you autistics know, the criticism and the hyper criticism that we get, and if you've got a Ruby Frankie mum like I had, the hyper criticism, the corporal punishments, the full-on ridiculous control games is just damaging to you. So yeah. But anyway, I hope you learned about monotropism. I hope you look it up, and I hope it helps you, because knowledge is power. Because if you know, you can look into things and you can find solutions to things. I like that. I really like that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. And I shout out to all of you that have been commenting, because I'm just feeling really connected to you guys and getting to know you guys. And Sarah and I, when we read the comments and we'll mention the name, and I'm like, oh yeah, how's so-and-so going? Tell me more. And guys, we have our sessions of sit down and listen to you guys, and it is special, and we feel like we kind of know you, so thank you. Because disability life is a lonely life. We are all pretty much lone wolves, because this is not for the faint-hearted, is it? We are strong. Look at that chicken wing muscle. I'm 51. There ain't gonna be no muscle. I don't care anymore. I just shove a headband on and I shove certain clothes on. I tell you what, I'm getting to that point where I'm just, then again, I've always been like that. I've always been natural. I don't wear makeup. I don't self-tan. I just don't do those things because I'm just kind of a tomboy. I don't care. Anyway, take care of you, because I care about you. You matter. And thank you for everything. and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.